Welcome to your Unit 5 video tutorial on pages 15 and 16. This is predicting products of double replacement reactions. So a couple things I want to point out in the instructions is that this type of reaction always works in our class. Not all double replacement reactions really work, but in level chemistry they do. So you are not using the activity series for this. That is only for single replacement, so you don't need that part of the periodic table at all for this. And then watch the order of elements as you write them. Remember, it's always cation first and then anion, so the metal and then the non-metal are polyatomic. Miss Peterson does a really cool way of doing it like this. If you want to read those instructions, go ahead. I didn't teach it this way in my classes, so I'm not going to talk about the circling for the video tutorial. But go ahead and take a look at that if you're one of her students and you like that, or if you're struggling. You might need to read those instructions. Okay, so word equation. We did a lot of these together. Let's look at number 3, because we didn't do this one in class. I've got calcium acetate plus sodium carbonate. In a double replacement reactions, no one's single. I've got two compounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the anions, which are the second things, and we're just going to switch them. So instead of calcium acetate, it's going to be calcium carbonate plus sodium acetate. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down in my word equation. Calcium, C-A-L-C-I-U-M, carbonate, plus sodium acetate. I'm going to run out of room. Okay. Calcium carbonate plus sodium acetate. Almost fit that in there. So I switched the anions and I kept my cations in front. Ultimately, if you wrote sodium acetate first and calcium carbonate second, it doesn't matter as long as you switch the anions. Okay? Now you need to write the formula, which means I have 4 names. Calcium acetate, sodium carbonate, reacts to calcium carbonate, sodium acetate. So if I have 4 names and I'm writing 4 formulas, then I have to formula write 4 times, which are 4 steps. Are we getting sick of that number yet? So calcium acetate, the first step is the symbols. Calcium acetate is on my polyatomic list, C2H3O2, -1. Calcium is in family 2, so it makes a +2, and I crisscross around the parentheses. So the formula, I'm going to put blank so I can balance, Ca, C2H3O2, 2. There's calcium acetate, plus the second one, which is sodium carbonate. So I'm going to put plus, and A is the symbol for sodium. Carbonate is CO3, and it makes a -2 charge, so I'm going to write down that symbol. CO3, -2. Calcium's in family 1, so it makes, sodium's in family 1, so it makes a +1. And I'm going to crisscross and then reduce and erase. So my formula is Na2CO3, invisible 1. After sodium carbonate, we need to translate down that arrow. I'm going to put the arrow. And then I need to write the formula for calcium carbonate. CaCO3 +2 -2. Crisscross, 2's and 2's. Since they're both the same, we leave them off. Blank CaCO3, like that. Okay, that's Unit 4. So if that was way too fast for you, you need to start by reviewing Unit 4. Plus sodium acetate. So step 1 is the symbol, sodium C2H3O2 acetate. Step 2 is the charge, +1 -1. Step 3 is to crisscross. Step 4 is to reduce and erase. Blank Na C2H3O2. So I had 4 names, 4 formulas. We did it. This is not a balanced equation, but right here it doesn't ask you to balance it. Up top it does. I did not require my students to balance pages 15 and 16. Your teacher might have, so make sure you check with them. When in doubt, go ahead and balance it, but for home students, you're fine not to balance. All right. Let's try one more. We'll look at number 9. This page doesn't have the Roman numerals in parentheses. You can go back and add them. It kind of depends on when you went to college with whether or not you use parentheses or not. We do in class usually. Add them back in. We're fine. Calcium iodide reacts with lead 4 chlorate to make what? Well, I should know this is a double replacement reaction because I have 2 compounds. which means we're going to switch anions. The second things are going to switch. So calcium is going to go with chlorate after the reaction, and lead-4 is going to go with iodide. So let's go ahead and write that. Calcium chlorate plus lead-4 iodide, because it's going to switch and be with that one. All right, we have the word equation. Now you need to write the formula equation, which means 4 names to 4 formulas, 4 steps for formula writing. The symbol for calcium, Ca. Symbol for iodine, which is iodide, is just iodine I. Then you write the charges. Calcium's in family 2, it makes a +2. Iodine's in family 7, it needs 1 more to be like family 8. So we crisscross and then reduce and erase. Leave room to balance, blank, Ca, invisible 1, I, 2. Plus, okay, I've copied this one down in the plus sign. Now I need to translate lead-4 chlorate. Pb, and chlorate is not chlorine. It's not Cl. That would be chloride. Chlorate is ClO3, -1. So I'm going to write that ClO3, -1. Lead is making a 4 charge. It tells me right in the name, +4. So when I crisscross, 1 comes here and a 4 goes there. Blank, Pb, invisible 1, ClO3, 4, arrow, calcium chlorate, Ca, ClO3, -1, +2, 2 and 1, blank, Ca, ClO3, 2. Okay, so there's my formula. Blank, Pb, I, for lead iodide. Lead is making a +4, -1, crisscross. Pb, invisible 1, by 4. So, this is 1 question on Unit 5, but that used to be 6 questions, okay? 1, naming, that was Unit 4. Each of those would be a question. Each of these formula writings would have been a question in Unit 4. Now, we assume you know how to do this bottom part pretty well, so you should be able to write that. Again, this is not a balanced reaction though, because I have 2 iodine on my reactant side. I have 4 iodine over here, so you would have to go back and balance these. Okay. For now, to start with, I just had my students name them in the word equation, right here, and then translate them into formulas, like that. Alright, good job, y'all.